Hi, I'm Rob Bowman, and this is Flowers for Your Grave, the pilot episode of Castle.
I'm Andrew Marlowe, the executive producer and creator.
I'm John Huertas. I play Detective Esposito.
I am also John Huertas, playing Richard Castle. Nathan Fillion, playing Richard Castle.
I'm Stana Katic, and I played Kate Beckett.
Yeah, you do.
How many roses were killed in the making of this episode? None. They're silk.
Are those?
Yes, I didn't want them to be, but they were. How many silkworms? So this is
Which one was that?
victim version number 3. This is the third lady we used to accomplish the lady on the table. There's one lady used in that very opening, but over the course of this beginning, we ultimately ended up using 3.
This is Monet Mazur. She plays Castle's first wife
Second
and
wife.
publisher.
Second
Second
wife.
wife. Durr.
Lovely lady, very talented. She was so great to work with. Boy.
So the interesting thing about this episode, actually, is that we originally shot this as a presentation that was about 37 minutes, and we had to fill out the episode when we got picked up to series. So the presentation is shot in New York City, and this is a rooftop in New York. And then when we came back to fill out the episode, we filled out the rest of it back here in Los Angeles, where the rest of the the rest of the episodes are shot.
And thanks to Rob Bowman, it is seamless.
So this is lady number 1. That's actually a shot. This shot and
New York.
that point of view of the girl were from New York. This is lady number 2. This is in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Months later.
In a very windowed Los Angeles apartment.
Yes.
24.
So
I was so sick this night. This was like 4 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night.
not quite, but it was late. But you were off in the corner with your eyes closed, I remember, yes.
Yeah, I was not
Crying
feeling
a little bit, if I recall. The guys all talked about it.
You knew her.
They did? The
Yeah,
crew?
your eyes were a little teary
They-
from the congestion.
Yeah. They lost a little respect for you that day.
This was our first week working with our Los Angeles crew. We were so fortunate. We had a lot of film people working behind the camera. It was really made it easier.
Your hair looks a little longer there, doesn't it?
Does this look familiar to anyone? No.
Shames Jabber, new guy.
He is a new guy.
He wasn't around when we shot the original presentation, and we brought him in when we filled out the show. So he was referred to for the entire season as the new guy. And
I think second season will probably still
Oh, yeah.
refer to him as the new guy.
We promised him it would only last for the duration of the
he's lobbying me to bring in another character, just so that character will be the new guy. He doesn't want to be the rookie next year.
Anybody.
It was sad. Nathan forced him to carry his bags. It was very embarrassing.
Yep, and I made him run lines with me, too.
I'm just glad you cast somebody.
We're actually back in New York for this scene.
Oh, that's right.
New York City, it was hot that summer. Heat wave, 95% humidity, wouldn't rain.
Really?
I thought it was you who brought the heat.
Keep talking.
Nah, I'm done.
You should work. I mean, you could have retired him. You could have crippled him. You could have had him join the friggin' circus. But no, you had to put a bullet through his head.
Yeah, real messy.
So in here, you know, the difficulty when you're launching a series with a pilot is establishing all the characters and then, you know, bringing the story in. And the story is our mystery. But we want to establish Richard Castle here as a ladies' man, a man's man, a man about town, you know, a guy who has a good time. And it's in this scene where we're establishing his credentials as an author, how well respected he is, and he's just killed off his main character because he's grown bored. And now he's going through a crisis of confidence and has writer's block.
We knew, you know, knowing that he was about to be dismantled by his ex and then soon hear his mother, we took the liberty and privilege of building up, you know, his apparent image in the beginning with that little montage, which used to be much bigger and longer and faster, but he looked like a man at the height of his powers and time of his life, and then only to, you know, knock him down at the knees in the subsequent scenes.
So having written the character of Richard Castle, when you go through the process of making a pilot, you have to go find somebody who can fill those shoes and bring something to it. And do you remember our first meeting, Nathan?
You guys were very kind. You came down to a location shoot. I was on Desperate Housewives
You're
at
on
the time.
Desperate Housewives, yeah.
Yes, in a little church parking lot, and you came into my trailer, and I said, "Stop looking for this guy, because I'm this guy."
And tell us what you were wearing that day.
Oh, like a sweater and
Khakis.
slacks, and I was a very namby-pamby. I was very white toast.
You looked like one of those guys on Desperate Housewives.
I was kind of Melba toasted.
Yeah. And you're like, just let me be a man. Can I have like just a little stubble on my chin? No, he said, I am this guy. And he was absolutely right. And after that meeting, we knew that we had found our castle.
What was the conversation like after you left that trailer? No way. Call the agency. What was that smell?
Didn't you find it a little awkward when he put his hand on your knee?
No, we stood on
the
we stood on the sidewalk just north of the church, and I don't remember I couldn't quote it, but we knew we were done. We were hoping we were done, and we'd found you. Then something really cool occurred. We then went into the Beckett search, and I knew that we were at least partners when Nathan sat in on every single woman we read, and we probably read 140.
Good.
Wow.
140
Wow.
ladies.
That
And
would've
Stana
been-
came in probably near the end of the first 100, and then I can't remember what the...
You kept looking?
Not because I wanted to. Or somewhere, I mean, kind of near the end, not the last, but that she walked in with a certain moxie and a chip on her shoulder, and which we liked because we needed somebody who would sort of bite back.
In fact, in this interrogation scene, she walked into the casting room the way she did in this interrogation scene, like she owned the room.
This was the scene we used
This was
to
the audition scene, yeah.
to audition.
Yeah, this was the audition scene. It's a tough scene because we're trying to establish both characters. We're also trying to establish some antagonism and sparks here. But
Describe what she's doing. Describe what he's doing. You have this.
yeah, she thinks that she's interrogating him, and he thinks he's on his first date.
Yeah. So that was kind of our mantra. And then we went through the process, and there was just nobody else who had that inherent moxie that she had.
And also the chemistry. You know, a show like this, it's the chemistry of the leads. It's going to be the engine of the show.
Well, here's the interesting. I'm getting to that is that you sort of pick the right, the first person. You got Nathan, and then you find Stana, and now you hope that after countless people, and Nathan was always our first choice, but we had to look at other guys, and we ended up choosing Nathan anyways.
Right.
I'm okay with that. Awkward pause.
It's the process, right?
Is that then you put them together and say, do these two people who have never met have series magic chemistry that will last for years, and the audience will want to tune in by the millions every week? And you don't know that, and it's just a. So then you put them in a room and you start working, and once we realized we had it, then the rest of the show, you felt like, well, we have the most important thing, which is the chemistry between he and her. Now, let's build the show around him.
Didn't you guys have to pull back after you presented the pilot? Didn't you have to pull back on some of the chemistry for the first episode? Wasn't there like a note?
There was a little bit of concern that you guys looked like you were going to go to bed in the second episode.
Episode 2, right?
And that we wanted to manage it. So that there was enough to keep it going, but not
like
too much that you were over-promising for the audience. And that's always the mystery when you're in the editing room of seeing how it plays, because we went through, this script is the script that I think Rob and I know the best of all during the season because we live with it for so long. And I think that there's a point where you lose a little bit of perspective and you have to trust some other people. Now here we're back in New York.
At Kate Unger's loft. She's a designer.
I love Nathan's face. As soon as he walks in, it's like, oh no, not again.
I think Andrew, on the moment, called that the Rockford face.
Oh yeah,
Little
Jim
bit of
Rockford.
Jim Rockford. Ah, okay. And this is a really important scene because we've seen the guy on top of the world, and then he comes home, and we're showing him as the beleaguered son, and then as the great interesting father, and
the single father.
Yeah. But it's in this scene that we want to set up the relationship between him and his daughter, and get a sense of who he is. And one of the things I asked Nathan and Molly to play around with is to find a little physicality, this moment where he pushes her up the
This was literally invented
hallway.
on the day.
Yeah, on the day.